A reading of Matthew 11. When Jesus finished giving these commandments to his 12 disciples, he went away from the place to teach and preach in the towns. Opposition from Israel. The messengers from John the Baptist. When John heard in prison of the works of the Messiah, he sent his disciples to him with this question: Are you the one who will come, or shall we look for another? Jesus said to them in reply, Go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind regain their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead have raised, the dead are raised, and the poor have the good news proclaimed into them. And blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. Jesus' testimony to John. Jesus' testimony to John. As they were going off, Jesus began to speak to the crowds about John. What did you go out to the desert? What did you go out to the desert to see? A reed swayed in the wind? A reed swayed by the wind? And what did you do? What did you go out to see? Someone dressed in fine clothing? Those who wear fine clothing are in royal palaces. Then why did you go out to see a prophet? Yes, I tell you. Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is the one about whom it is written, Behold, I am sending my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way before you. Okay, that's right. We just read that one here. So, verse 11. Amen. I say to you, amongst these born of a woman. Amen. Amen, I say to you, among those born of women, there has been none greater than John the Baptist, yet the least in the kingdom of heaven. Yet the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent are taking it by force. And the prophets and the law, all the prophets and the law prophesied up to the time of John, and if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah, the one who is to come. Whoever has ears ought to hear. To what shall I compare this generation? It is like children who sit in marketplaces, and call to one another. We played the flute for you, but do you not dance? We sang a dirge, but you did not mourn. For John came neither eating nor drinking. Then they said, he is possessed by a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they said, Look, he is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is vindicated by her works. Reproach to the unrepentant town. Reproaches to the unrepentant towns. Then he began to reproach the towns where most of his mighty deeds have been done. Since they have not repented, woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For the mighty deeds done in your midst have done in Tyre and Sidon. They will long ago have repented in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And as for you, Capernaum, will you be exalted to heaven? You will go down in the netherworlds. For it is netherworlds. netherworlds. Go down to the netherworlds. For if the mighty deeds done in your midst have been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom on the day of judgment than for your father. Praise for the Father. At the time Jesus said in reply, I give praise unto you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and learned, you have revealed them to the childlike. Praise the Father. At the time Jesus said in reply, I have given praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to the childlike. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone whom the Son wishes to reveal to him. The gentle mastery of Christ. Come to me, all you have labored and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you shall find rest for yourselves, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Chapter 12 tomorrow. Okay, so let's just put the